Hello, entrepreneurs, and welcome. Thank you for being here, and I hope you're ready to be inspired. So today we're going to talk about clarity and focus, but we're going to talk about clarity and focus in the context of business growth. Now, what does that mean? If you're an established business owner, particularly in professional services, if that's the area that you focus, I want you to be thinking about, why is it that as an established business you plateau? Why does that happen? Why does it happen that you stagnate? And a lot of people have not figured out the reason. And what I want to do today is help you understand what it is that's getting in the way. What is that true, genuine barrier to growth where you are no longer plateaued, not in a make-work project anymore, not doing unnecessary investments in all kinds of things that don't work and that keep your business stagnated, or worse, like incremental growth where you feel like it's all just one big make-work project and not really what you wanted for your business when you first set out. Established businesses have a very unique growth challenge that is totally different from the growth challenge that a small business, or a business rather, that's starting out has. A new business has different growth challenges than an existing business. And certainly as an established business, you have even different growth challenges. So that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to talk about growth in the context of clarity and focus. Now, clarity and focus is going to be a little tricky, and my intention today is to inspire you. My intention today is to inspire you with new ideas, new frameworks, new thinking that give you access to growth differently. Because until now, I think you've been limited because of the way that we talk about growth in business circles. So we're going to talk about growth that way first. We're going to highlight some of the common challenges. We're also then going to talk about how to build that thinking framework for yourself. And we're going to outline the fundamentals for a thriving business so that you are able to access new thinking that gives you the path forward that is meaningful to you. And then finally, we're going to give you the opportunity to identify for yourself what your growth opportunities really are. So let's dig right into it. But before we start, I just want to give you a quick introduction to who I am. My name is Michèle Soregaroli. I have been coaching since July 2004, so I've been at this for more than 20 years now, which is kind of exciting. And my focus has always been on differentiation specifically, and I work with established business owners, especially in professional services. So the reason I work in services is because I understand services. I worked in services pretty much my entire career. I grew up in a family that was involved in services. And so everything I understand is about how to grow and how to create value and how to differentiate in a services environment. Professional services specifically, because in professional services, you're really selling advice. You're consulting, you're advising, and you're providing value through your own intellect, experience, wisdom, etc., which is kind of difficult to differentiate, especially in highly commoditized industries. So if you're in an established practice or established business, you're in the right place. I have been generously the recipient, and I'm just so grateful for it, for the recipient of the 2011 Women of Worth Mompreneur of the Year. In 2013, I was recognized with the Coach Impact Award, the inaugural National Coach Impact Award with the International Coach Federation. And in 2013 and 2014, I was profiled in the Distinctive Women's Magazine across Canada. So I'm very, very thrilled to be here. And what we're going to be exploring today together is content that I have been working with my clients for the last 20 years. And this is going to help you understand why you've stagnated, why you've plateaued, and help you move past that finally without finding more make-work projects, as I like to say. So let's get right into it. Why do most businesses stagnate? What gets in the way? Now, we've heard the common barriers to success. We've heard of these already. The first one is we imitate what works, and we don't design what works for us. Now, when you're imitating what works for others, it works for them because of who they are. And that works great. It works really well when we first start our business because we're learning and there's a formula that we want to follow, and it helps us gain the traction that we need because we can see what others have done. So imitating with what works for others has a role. When you're an established business, however, it's actually a barrier. The second thing is, as an entrepreneur, I already know this about you, you have more ideas than you can possibly execute, and you have ideas on a regular stream. Too many ideas get in the way. Too many ideas create a lack of focus. They create a lack of strategic intentions. They don't allow you to execute well. And when you have too many ideas, they just get in the way. You know this already. This is another common barrier to success, and it's very real. Finally, playing it safe. Interestingly, what happens when we start our business is we are able and willing and actually pretty motivated to take on more risk. We'll do whatever it takes to succeed. But once we get to an established place in our business, we have more at risk. There's more that we can lose by taking risks, so we tend to play it safe. We tend to deliver what our customers want, and we tend to compromise. Now, these are not new to you. I know you've heard these barriers to success already, but what I want to emphasize here is that these are not the reasons that you are not successful. They are just the high-level barriers. Underneath all of this, there's some underlying issues, and it's the issues that we don't talk about well, particularly in established businesses. And as an entrepreneur of a business that has already created a certain level of success, you're already experiencing that. The underlying issues are where we really need to pay attention, and we rarely do. So let's discuss what those are next. The underlying issues that cause businesses to stagnate when they're already successful. First one is lack of inspiration. Second one is lack of alignment. And third one is lack of impact. Now, let's talk about each one of those. Why are they important? Inspiration. Lack of inspiration. Well, inspiration is what ignites action. Alignment is what makes it feel good. And finally, impact is what fuels our aspiration, our dreams. So let's talk about those just a little bit more. Inspiration ignites action. What does that mean? It means when you are inspired, you've been here before, you were probably inspired to start your business and quit your job at some point. You probably had a job and you thought, I can do this better. I'm inspired by the bigger and better future that I can have by doing this on my own. So you were inspired to take action. You were inspired to take on risk. That inspiration pulled you forward. Next step is alignment. What about alignment makes it feel good? Well, when we are fully expressing ourselves and we are truly living our values and we are experiencing the complete match between our core values, our philosophies, the things that we believe, the things that are important to us, when we're aligned with all of that, it feels good. When we're not aligned for whatever reason, it doesn't feel good. And I would imagine that you've had an experience in the past, perhaps with a client, where you wanted the business and you wanted to make that client happy. So you did something or you said something that was a little bit or completely out of alignment with who you truly are, either your values or your beliefs, but it didn't feel right. You logically thought it's the right thing to do, but in your heart of hearts, it didn't feel right. And sometimes we don't even know why that is, but we're out of alignment in some way. Sometimes it's very pronounced and sometimes it's really subtle. But when we have a lack of alignment, things don't feel good. Now, when it doesn't feel good, that's a problem for you, especially as an established business owner, because the feel good factor emanates through our energy. If you feel good, you are already a very attractive provider, right? People want to be around you. They want to do work with you because you're energetically congruent. So lack of alignment is an essential underlying issue. And then third, impact. Well, impact fuels us. Impact fuels our dreams, and it says, hey, the work that you're doing is meaningful, it's important, and you're getting the feedback to let you know that your work matters. So you can have all the inspiration in the world and have all these great ideas about what you want to do, and you can be fully and completely in alignment and feel great and know that you're just living what you're meant to live. But if you feel, for whatever reason, that your work doesn't matter, whether it doesn't matter to other people, or even that it matters to them, but it is not as impactful for you for whatever reason, if you're not getting that feedback, then we kind of lose steam. It doesn't help us carry through. Our endurance starts to wane. So our impact and how we experience our impact is a huge part of where an established business rises to new levels. So what I want to do here is give you a moment to just capture some of what's going on for you as you're thinking about what we're talking about. So inspiration, alignment, and impact are true energizers. When your energy is full, abundant, happy, positive, good things happen. Where in your business or even in your life might you be lacking energy right now? I want to give you a moment to reflect on that. Where is your energy being drained? Where is your energy being depleted? What is causing you to feel tired or uninspired or apathetic or can't be bothered or it's too much work? Where? Is it inspiration, lack of it? Is it lack of alignment? Or is it lack of impact? You can pause this here if you'd like to. I invite you to do so. And take as long as you need, whether it's a minute, 3 minutes, or 30 minutes, or 2 days. Take the time you need to capture the nugget right now that will give you the insight you need to benefit from the next part of our video going forward, the next part of our content. Okay, and thank you. I'm now welcoming you back. Thanks for being here again. So where I'd like to take us from here is, okay, now you understand what's draining your energy, or perhaps what's inhibiting your access to more energy. And let's understand, how do you now build a thriving business? How do you build a thriving business? What are the 4 pillars of success? And these pillars of success are essential for you, and they're access to new thinking. So remember, there's the common barriers to success, and that's the high-level problem that people solve for, but it's not the underlying issue. What we're doing here is solving for the underlying issue. What's really going on as an established business that has plateaued or stagnated? If you're in that place, this is why. The first pillar that we want to explore with you is mastery. Now, I'm going to get into each of these further, but I'm going to introduce them to you now, and then we're going to move into what each of them means. Mastery is about growth in service of better. It's about improvement. We're going to talk about that more. The next pillar, that is the next piece to think about, is meaning. And it's where your effort is really aligned with your values and your passions and your purpose. What kind of meaning is happening for you in your business? Then we have contribution. Now, contribution is where your attention is focused on what matters and makes a difference. What matters to you? What is really important to you? Get into more of that in a minute. And finally, the 4th pillar that we refer to here is significance. Now, significance is about the degree of impact, or about how it's informed by your aspirations. Significance is critical. Is your work significant in a way that is meaningful and significant for you? So let's take each one of these apart a little bit further to give you even deeper access to each of them individually. But first, before we're going to do that, we're going to put context around this, okay? Context around the 4 pillars. You probably recognize this pyramid. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And what we've done here is just highlight the different levels. I'm going to talk to each of these. So let's start right at the bottom. The bottom, we have psychological needs. Then on the next level, we have safety needs. And then we have love and belonging needs. Then we have esteem needs. And then finally, we have self-actualization. Now, most of us are probably familiar with Maslow's hierarchy. These needs are the things that help us access our most inspired self, if you will. And we've heard about Maslow's hierarchy a lot, but have we actually thought about it? And what does it mean for us as a business owner? And this is where we get tripped up. So what I want to introduce here is on the right-hand side now, we've just put some labels to it. Notice that the bottom two levels are psychological needs and safety needs. And these are your basic needs. Your basic needs happen when you first start your business. The most important thing is to address your physiological needs. What do you need for your health and safety? And then finally, your safety needs around security and probably paying your bills, that kind of thing. These are your very basic needs, your physiological needs and your safety needs. Then we move up to the love and belonging needs. And this is where our psychological needs start being addressed. Our psychological needs are, we feel like we have a sense of belonging, we feel like we are feeling loved, and we feel like we have found our people, and we are just feeling satisfied, if you will, around our psychological motivators. Then we get into esteem. Now, as an established business owner, this is where we want to spend most of our attention and on the next level. So esteem is also about psychological, and it's about your need to feel like you are okay, that you have a sense of mastery, that you feel like you're worthy, and that you are bringing forward good work. Your esteem needs are around your sense of self-worth, your sense of being able to make a difference, that kind of thing. So what happens in our businesses is we hover in esteem needs. And as an established business, we get stuck there. Now, the next level finally is our self-fulfillment needs. And this is your access point. And it sounds woo-woo. It sounds a bit fluffy. It sounds like, oh, sure, dreaming and all that, idealistic and utopian and wonderful. But it's more than that. These needs as self-fulfillment are your access point to breaking through stagnation, especially as an established business owner. This does not work when you're starting a business. When you're starting a business, you're at the bottom of this pyramid and you are working your way up. But as an established business owner, the reason you're getting stuck is because you're stuck in esteem, and quite possibly you might even be still stuck in love and belonging and trying to drive that. And you've got bigger opportunities that you haven't yet accessed through the next level of self-fulfillment. So what does that mean? On the left-hand side of this slide, we now have mastery. So notice where mastery sits. Mastery sits at the spot of the highest level of esteem. So we want to feel masterful. We want to feel really good. Now, this is where most of us get caught up. And this is actually an obstacle or a barrier to your success. Because what we do is, as business owners, we don't necessarily have access to this self-fulfillment need. So what you're doing is you're probably investing in more mastery, self-esteem type drivers, if you will. Things like accreditation, things like better software, things like nicer offices, better environments for your clients. You're investing over and over and over again to create more mastery, if you will. You're driving to mastery. So I'm going to talk about this in the next bit, but this is where you're getting stuck because you are focused on something that's creating mastery, but it's not actually giving you the experience of mastery that you seek. The next level is around meaning. Meaning is the very first level of self-actualization. Then we get into contribution, and then finally we get into significance. So let's talk about each of these four pillars in the context of you. Mastery. Remember, mastery is about growth in service of better. Now, better can mean better client experience. It can be better for your team members. It can be better for you. But growth is being in service of better. This is where mastery comes in. Now, the thing about mastery is it's about excellence. It's about growth, as we've identified. And finally, it's about creativity. And this is the missing piece. Mastery is about creativity. So up until now in your business, you have likely been becoming what I like to call a technical expert. You're very good at what you do. You know your craft inside out. You have more letters after your name than in your name, quite possibly. You are involved in all kinds of either masterminds or you're attending all the conferences. You're constantly keeping up with your CEU requirements, your continuing education requirements, and you're constantly doing all these things to create more mastery of your craft. But here's the thing about mastery. Once you are masterful in your craft, once you are a technical expert, the next level of mastery is creativity. And that's when you throw out all the rules. That's when you create because you're completely free. So we see this in art all the time. So a pianist, for example, who studies year after year after year to become a technical expert in their Royal Conservatory pursuit. And maybe they get all the way up to the top level of, I think it's grade 12 in the Royal Conservatory of Music. And they complete, and they're a technical expert, but they've never composed. They've never taken all of their learning and created something different and unique that is an expression of themselves. This is what I see in professional services all the time. They become a technical expert, but fail to create, fail to actually self-express in alignment with an inspiration that they have for something that is better, in alignment with their core values, in alignment with their philosophies, their beliefs, what's important to them, all that, and around impact. What they want to achieve and what the differences that they want to make. Creativity is essential in mastery, and it is a missing piece for most of you. So if you haven't yet created something that is outside the scope of your technical expertise, that is not a copy of what others are doing, but rather an expression of the kind of value you want to create, this is your first step. The next level we get into then is meaning. Meaning, remember, is around your effort is aligned with your values, your passions, and your purpose. So meaning is about expanding value. It's not about adding, it's actually about deeper. It's about focus. So you're expanding value by going deeper. And by going deeper, this is where your creativity is creating unique value, because you're going deep. And you're not just going into what can we do more of, what can we do again, or what can we add? We're not talking about adding. We don't want to do more here. The next level is around engagement. So what is it going to take for you to be more engaged in your business? What would excite you? What would bring you back into your business with the same enthusiasm if you were completely free? Just like when you started your business, free to create what you actually want. What would engage your inspiration and that of your team and that of your clients and customers who are truly waiting for you to express value in your unique way? And then finally, of course, you're energized by that, right? You have a new increased energy because the sense of meaning to you, and this is unique to you, the meaning is so profound and rewarding and energizing. So this is meaning. Your efforts are aligned with things that energize you. Then we get into contribution. Now this is more about outside, right? Contribution is what focuses on what matters and what is making a difference. And that difference is you're noticing it. You can see positive change. You can also see tangible results. This is really about impact now. The impact that you're having, you know that there's tangible results. You know that the impact that you're having is making a meaningful difference, and it's having positive change, and you can measure it, and it's enduring. It's not just a one-off thing. You can see that change is having a ripple effect, or it's sustaining itself through time, and it's making a difference. You're contributing to the better experience of mankind and humanity, which is amazing. Right? This is contribution. What matters and what makes a difference? And then finally, we get into significance. Now, significance is about degree of impact. And this is really talking about the context of how significant something is, and really about its scale and its scope. What do I mean by scale? Each one of you, you have a level of significance that's important to you. And that significant might be the significance to you in terms of the relationship that you have with your clients, your team, your community, whatever it is. The kind of significance you want is very, very unique, and it's subjective in its relevance, right? It's broad, it is personal in scale, and it's subjective. Now, what does that mean? For you, something significant might be a profound impact on one person, where you have dramatically influenced the quality of their life. It might be that you're thinking, like Elon Musk, that scale doesn't just stop with Earth, it goes all the way to Mars and into the universe, right? Scale is unique. It doesn't matter whether the scale is individual and profound and deeply meaningful for you, or it doesn't matter whether it's large in scale. What matters is that you understand that the work that you're doing has significance in the experience of humanity. That the work that you're doing, you can see that the significance of that work has a ripple effect, that it has an impact beyond you and beyond the people that you're doing the work for. That significance is unique to you, and nobody can tell you what the scale is, what the scope is, what the context of that significance is, or even what its relevance is. Only you can define that. But this is where, remember I talked about mastery, the very first pillar? When you are masterful, you are creating. When you are creating, you are doing much more meaningful work because it is expressing yourself. And that meaning can turn into incredible contribution, and that contribution, it becomes significant. If you have these 4 pillars of the framework of the 4 pillars to think through, then you're going to understand why the obstacles to success that we talked about at the very beginning are limiting for you in terms of your thinking. They're more formulaic. So if you are wanting to look at don't copy others and stop doing things that don't mean anything to you, and if you're looking at the things that are the obstacles that we talked about at the beginning, you're actually limiting your ability to access more potential. And this is where established business owners get caught up. This is where you are limited. So the four pillars of success are your catalyst, if you will, for access to a better future. One that ignites you again, just like you were when you were first ignited, when you started your business, however long ago that was. You will be reignited with new discoveries. And it all starts with understanding that mastery has a significant component of creativity. So again, I want to invite you here. In which of the 4 pillars do you feel most satisfied right now? Mastery, meaning, contribution, significance. I invite you to pause this video again if this is something that you want to take a deeper dive on. Which of them do you feel most satisfied with? And which one do you feel most unclear with, or that needs focus? Where is your next opportunity to break through this plateau and reach new levels of fulfillment for yourself, for your team, for your clients? We need to identify what is the area that needs more clarity and needs more focus for you so that your business can grow. And then finally, once you've identified that, your next step is to consider how might you apply these principles to your business today, starting right now. So again, take a moment. What ideas come to mind? What have you been inspired by that is in alignment with who you are, your passions and your purpose and all that beautiful stuff that makes you feel completely congruent? and has the kind of impact that is meaningful for you, that you know your work makes a difference. How might you apply this? What ideas have come up for you? These ideas are the ones worth paying attention to. Then you can start distilling those down to priorities, strategic priorities. That's a different conversation. So here's what we talked about today. Clarity is key. The right kind of clarity is key to overcoming your personal and business stagnation. Inspiration, alignment, and impact are energizers. And the 4 pillars of success offer you access to perspectives that will revitalize your business and you and your enthusiasm for the work that you do. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to hearing how you've been inspired. Should you feel so inclined, it would be such a joy for me to know. So if you feel inclined to let me know, I would be thrilled to hear from you. And also if you need help, you have any questions, or if you want to take this a little deeper and find out how you might be able to be inspired even further with the support of me as your coach, I would be absolutely thrilled to hear from you. And we can certainly explore that and see whether or not that even makes sense for you. I can be reached at info@transformationcatalyst.ca. And for now, I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for investing the time to be inspired, to get aligned, and to understand the importance of impact. Have a great day, and to your success differently. Bye for now.